Okay. Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Something Different with Sherry. Okay. And I'm Joni, and we have PJ here filming. Uh, if you are if you are with us for the very first time and you would like to uh, watch the video and shop with us, you're on Facebook, then you'll need to go up to the comment bar and type in register, and then create an account to go in and put in your name and address and a password, and then you can go back to that later. Um, and you can watch the show and shop with us when it's over. And if you're on the app, you're all set. So to get the app, you'll just go to the App Store and type in Gloria Horn Sewing Studio, and then download the app, and you can watch this class and all of our classes up to a year, and then you're all set to shop. We are also on YouTube and Snapchat and Instagram, and what else? TikTok. But we're not able to shop there yet, but we will be very soon. So you might want to get the app so you can shop with us. Shipping is $8, and we will combine orders. So if you bought something yesterday, and then you can add this to it, and you'll get free shipping, or it's within a 24-hour period. And let's see, and then we will also be on this afternoon. So I think I got everything. So Sherry is making a dress called Mary D.
Mary
is
D, and we have her hanging on the wall. Do you want her
okay.
down?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. Do you want me to get it so that you
Okay.
can? Okay.
There's one thing that I observed. Nancy came in yesterday for me to help her with the cutting out of her dress,
Mhm.
and there was a question about it was a size 4 or 6, and I didn't realize this. The bigger sizes needed just a little bit more width in the fabric. So if that happens,
Mhm.
you can take that back piece. The back piece is much wider than the front piece. And the back, you're using 2 pieces versus the front is 1 on the fold. So it's going to be different. So
Mhm.
where the center back line is, if you take and just pinch it all the way down,
Mhm.
you can eliminate a little bit of the gather in it so that will fit across the width of your fabric.
Yeah.
I made little sizes, so I didn't really pay attention to that.
Yeah. So you would just right here is the
What's
center
a center back line,
line,
and then just
kind of make a pleat.
if you fold it on that line,
Mhm.
and then just tuck it back
So you tucked it about
about half an
an
inch.
inch, so that would take an inch out of
Yep.
it, and then it will fit across
And then it'll
the
fit
width,
across the width.
of the
Yep.
fabric. Okay.
And if you think that your front needs a little more width, you can always move the center front over.
Yeah.
They're pretty generous on these.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
And this is the front, and that's the back. So it has 2 little buttonholes and covered
really
buttons.
nice.
Yeah, really cute.
And Joni made covered buttons yesterday. So
I
did you
did.
think it was easy?
Yeah.
It's much easier than they used to be.
Yeah, and also it's nice to have. You don't have to worry about a button that matches. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So the pattern is the Mary D.
Okay.
So it was Mary D, and she comes in 2 sizes: a 6-month to 3, or a 4 to an 8. And again, all of the sizes are included. So with this 6-month to 3, you get 6-month, 12-month, 18-month, 24-month, and a 3.
Yeah,
Let's get that 24-month is 2.
Yeah, I was very impressed. They have each piece for each size. They don't give you one pattern piece with all the different cutting lines on it.
Right.
That's
Which is really
nice.
Mhm. And then the 4 would be 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it's really nice to have those, especially if you like the pattern and you want to use it again. You can do it in different sizes. And then the fabric kit which it comes in a pouch that looks like this, has covered buttons, your yoke fabric, your yoke lining, and then your skirt fabric. The other thing for this dress is if you want to just do it in one fabric, that's fine. That's what all of them are shown in one fabric. I just thought it was kind of fun to change the bodice. And so
That's
that's
right.
what
I
I
never,
did.
I didn't notice that. This one is all the same
Yeah.
color fabric.
So
That's
it's up
cute too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it really doesn't matter. If you have some really cute fabric at home, and Joni and I were talking about this this morning. So quilters and garment sewers, when it comes to cotton fabric, we all use the same fabric.
Yeah.
It's all cotton.
Mhm.
But the difference for garment sewers, a lot of us, when we get fabric, we tear it to make sure that it's straight on
Mhm.
grain, or we pull a thread, whichever. And
Mhm.
quilters do not.
No,
So
I did that once for somebody and they didn't like it at all. Meanwhile, if I ever went to a fabric store and they tore it, I was happy because
Right.
then you don't have any waste. It's
Right.
already straightened.
Right. And
for
I know
you.
when some of the boutiques, when they come into the store, are torn,
Yeah.
but we
Mhm.
don't tear them. We cut them.
Yeah. good for-
So yeah, we don't want to
Mhm.
we don't want to offend people.
Okay, let's see.
So,
Someone
okay.
says if you were going to scale the pattern to size 10, do you have to add length? I know the length would be.
I think the pattern is pretty long. There's 3¼ inches allowed for the hem. So
Mhm.
for a 10, that would give you 3½ extra inches that you would
Mhm.
have from the 8. So I think you could be okay.
Yeah.
And then I would just finish, instead of finishing it off with a regular hem, I would probably do a rolled or just a rolled hem on the bottom.
Okay, so on the back it says finished length. Oh, I see. It goes. This pattern goes up to 8. There is one that goes up to 14.
That's the Lillian.
Oh, okay. So this one goes up to 8.
The next dress will go up to a 14.
So the finished length for a size 8 is 31.5. So I would just kind of measure from the back, center back, all the way down. And if you needed whatever you needed, I would add it to it.
And that 31½ will include the 3½ inch or 3¼ inch seam allowance.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. For the hem, it allows
allow-
3¼ That's
Right, it's a
a
deep
lot.
hem.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any of the children's corner patterns that are dresses, they're really geared. They started for smocking patterns, and having been in the South and knowing all of the little dresses down there, they always have deep hems so they can let them out,
Uh-huh.
because a lot of them are like the bishops that are round. There's really no fit to them,
Yeah.
so they
Mhm.
can wear them for a couple sizes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why they had done that. So I think that will help
Mhm.
for the 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay. So
All right. So we have those. So we are going to start to sew this today. The couple things, I do use cotton thread when I use the cottons, because I like that. It doesn't, if you use polyester thread, I don't think it's going to hurt. But I find that I like the cotton thread. Aurifil or the Metler would be my thread of choice.
mhm.
You also use the same thread. It's a 50 weight. Use the same thread in the bobbin to match them. You can pre-wash your fabric if you would like. Some people do, some people don't. These are all made from the store, so they're
Yeah.
I cut them out in the store, so we didn't pre-wash them.
Mhm. But ours are such good fabrics
Yeah.
that we don't find that
That they're going to shrink.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some people like to get the sizing and
Yeah.
stuff out of their fabric
Mhm.
before they make it, but yeah, I kind of think it's okay. So the very first thing that you do when we're going to sew is we're going to take our instruction sheet. Step 3 talks about doing the instructions with a smocked garment, so we skip over that one and we go down to view C. It's view B and C, front and back yoke. So I decided to kind of do this in a couple steps so you didn't have to just sit and watch sewing, and that's not very exciting. So I gathered the bottom and I attached the yoke, and we are going to do that. But this is the, can we see the, okay.
Mhm.
So this seam is a 1/2 inch, which is really a nicer seam allowance, especially if you've not ever sewn a garment. And I want to make sure that for those quilters, we're going to show you some notions that you might not have because you don't use them for quilting. The same thing is I don't have a lot of quilting notions since I'm not a quilter.
Mhm.
So it kind of works backwards. But when you stitch it 1/2 inch and then I trim it a little bit and then finish it off. This one I did with a G foot and one of the stitches that I'll show you on the machine. And then the big thing with garments is pressing as you go. And so this one is all pressed and ready to go. The next piece, which is the back, and I don't know, PJ, can we get this far down or do I have to move it down a little bit?
Move it to the center,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
All right. So this is going to be the back. In the back, we have a left and a right yoke piece. And we have a left and back bottom, the skirt. So if you remember, we put little snips. So if you pull your piece apart, there's one snip there, and there are 2 snips, if we can see that.
Mhm.
There are 2 snips there. So the 2 snips, the first one is going to be where we fold it back, and we're going to fold this back and press it. In
Here,
the
I'll make sure your
instructions,
iron's on.
it says to fold it back 1.25 inches.
Mhm.
So they tell you to fold it back 1/4 and then fold it back 1 inch. But rather than do that, I take my hot hammer and I lay it on that first line.
Okay, here, I don't think they can see us, so
Oops.
here,
okay,
maybe we
a
better.
little more.
Yeah,
we
we'll
want
move.
it'd be
move
helpful
the-
to see it. So
Yeah.
you know how to use this.
Okay, all right, is that
Okay.
good?
That's good.
Okay,
Are we
yeah.
better?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So you line it up, and then when you fold it back, it's going to be on the 1.25 inches on here.
I just turned it on, but maybe I think
Let's
you'll
see.
probably be able to get a crease.
So you just press right over.
Yeah, and you are getting a press.
I
That
am
is a
getting a
really
crease,
nice
yes.
tool.
It is. It's so
Mhm.
handy. Otherwise, you're trying to pin it to push it back and
You
put
got to
your
mark
fins
it.
in it.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
this
You don't
is
have to
much
mark
easier.
it. You can just fold.
And I do like this one because it's long.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have our edge finished. Now, what I did on this one, and we're going to do it here. Once you get it pressed back, then you can finish it because a seam finish is done after you made your seam.
Mhm.
So this one has it looks like a rolled hem, and it's just a real close zigzag. So I'm going to use the Brilliant today. And the Brilliant, as we had talked about, is a lot of people that have bigger machines use a little one. This is one of the little ones. But if you're looking for a machine and you don't have a machine, this is also a really nice machine to have.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
this-
like it has feet in it, which we will use. Let's see, here we are.
Mhm.
We will use the buttonhole. We will use the R foot. We will use the G foot, and actually the G foot is the foot that we'll use on the top of it. And the J foot is what's on it. So that's just the regular one. And it comes with some bobbins.
It comes
So-
with a walking foot and also 1/4 inch piecing and a free motion guide, Teflon foot. It's a really nice machine for to have. It has a lot of it has all the basic feet and then a few extra.
And so this one, there are the keypad on here. This when you hit this little button, it has little marks up at the top. So we're going to do the first one, and we want to do a zigzag, which is 8. So this is going to give me a zigzag. With this one, I want the the length to be a little bit closer. So I'm going to make it maybe to 1 or to 9, and then make this one a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Then I run the middle of the foot. Let me see where's my
There it is. You have to
I
turn
need
it
some
around.
power.
Mm-hmm.
And then it should just stitch. Yes.
Maybe, I think maybe it has the wrong one. Let me get you.
Oh, I have the wrong foot in it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Whoops.
yeah, okay. That you go. Here.
Thank
Here,
you.
I'll just take that, okay.
So I'm sure your machine at home has the right foot.
Yes. Yeah.
Or we could undo it and then press the button.
Okay.
All right. So this is going to stitch right along the edge.
So you're swinging your needle over the edge, or are you sewing
So
into
then
the fabric?
It sews over the edge. Left needle goes in, and then the right goes over the edge.
Okay.
And this also does have a speed control, so it's up to you how fast you can go or slow you can go. It's not a race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're on high speed right now.
Yeah. All right. And I use either the 3 or the position where it's in the middle, which I know a lot of times. Okay, then we're gonna. All right, do a couple lock stitches, and there you go. And so that gives you a very nice
Oh, that is pretty.
finished edge
Can
on
you get
that.
a good
Can we see
close
that?
up at that? Yeah.
Pretty good.
So it was the width of 2.5 and the length of 0.9.
So the length is you want the stitches closer together. The width is how wide apart they are.
Do we get a little bit closer with the just to see the stitch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, thank
Okay. And my rotary cutter accident.
Oh, you had a
I
rotary
had a different Band-Aid on it that didn't look so obnoxious. But
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I thought it was. I didn't even notice. I just walked across the table yesterday cutting and cut my finger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once this, I guess we should just stay at the machine. Once this is folded back, you have 2 lines that are notches. Those are the X's, and we're going to baste in between those. So
Okay.
yes, one more time. So my other little trick that I really like with bobbin. So I have cotton thread. I use 2 different bobbin savers. Actually, I have a third one at home for embroidery. But this would be my cotton bobbins. This would be my polyester bobbins. See, I'm a garment girl, a lot more polyester. But I find it's easier if I wind a lot, I will just keep them in there. And if you're sewing, especially white, a lot of white, then keep a couple bobbins wound in there, and then you've got them set. All right, so now we're going to go to stitch 3, and that's a straight stitch, and that's the stitch that the needle is in the middle. And if we don't want to lock it because we're going to baste it.
Okay.
So to do a basting, you need a bigger stitch. So we'll take, let's do our basting 4.5. And make sure the right end of it. Yes. Okay. So where our notch is, you don't want to have it locked because you don't want your basting stitch to be locked. The other thing is, I found that it was easier for me to make sure I knew where I was sewing. So I took my gauge and I knew I wanted to be, the seam is 1/2 inch. So with gathering, you do a quarter, you do it 1/8 of an inch above and 1/8 of an inch below. So 1/2 inch seam means you're going to do 5/8 and 3/8. So on here, a 5/8 would be at the 2. So I'm going to do that from the 2. I keep turning it upside down. No? No. Okay. So I go from the 2. And you want to have 2 rows of basting if you're doing a lighter fabric. If you're doing something heavier, a 3rd row is good because it gives you a little more control over the gathers. Okay. So you just follow along the 2. And then we get to the center. And then we get to, you want to go to the first line. You don't want to go to the quarter because we're going to gather in between it. Then, if you don't have to measure on the second one. If you run the edge of your foot, the outer part, along the line that you already made, you'll have 1/2 an inch difference, and it won't be on the seam line.
That's a good trick. Mhm.
All right. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go back, and we're going to pin.
Okay.
All right. We're going to take. Oh, do we still? Is the iron still on? Let's press this
Yeah.
a little bit. So your pieces might be a little wrinkled. The other thing that I really like, if you're trying to get wrinkles, if there's especially creases where the fold is on the fabric, I really like Best Press, and we do use it. We can't, if you would like it, we can't send it to you. But if you have a local store or we're your local store, we sell it in the store, and it comes in 3 different flavors. I think there's a plain, a lilac, and
A linen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Different. Yeah. This one is
that one's
scent free. Yeah. So we can't send it, but if you're local, come in and you can pick it up.
And we'll show it to you.
Mhm.
So sometimes on these pieces, you might want to just do a little spray if they look like they're a little wrinkled before you sew them together. All right. So with this one, you take the pin, and we're going to pin them. Yeah, that's the right side. Okay. With the way you want this to look, the folded edge is going to match the bottom of the curved part. All right, because this is it's not really your center back, but that would be the back. The edge of it matches here. This would be the underarm seam. So that's going to match along the edge.
And that's your center back, and that you said.
The center back is kind of like here
Oh, okay.
because they overlap.
Mhm. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this would be the piece that needs to match this.
Where you had that notch.
Where it had the notch. So what we want to do is, because we're going to sew the lining to this yoke piece, we need to leave a seam allowance. So at the edge, we do 1/4 inch, which I can use this, or I can use a hem gauge, either way. I think Joni and I have the same hem gauge from when we were in college.
Yeah. But I like the one.
They don't go bad.
I have the old one, and I have a new one too.
So you want to pin, you want to put a pin right on the fold there, but then we're going to open it up because you're gathering threads let's see, it's probably easier on the pink.
Mhm.
All right, the gathering threads, you're going to take, okay, there we go. All right, so you take the thread and you're going to pull it, and it's going to gather your thread. And there are gathering feet. If you have a serger, there's gathering feet to do that. This is just the best way I know how to do it without doing anything crazy.
She wanted to use all the basic feet on the machine, which is,
Because I think that's,
and then you can add to it later, but she
Yeah.
wanted you to see how she,
and I want you to be able to use what you have on your machine if you have it. So what I do is once I get it started, I take the threads and I make a figure 8 onto another pin, and that'll hold it. And then you do the same thing. Take the same 2 threads from the other side.
This is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of gathers, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're twirly skirts. The little girls love these.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then
You
once
can see it's starting to fit, but you
once
need
it
to.
looks like it almost fits, then I kind of hold it down, and usually there's one edge that seems to be pulled a little more than another. Okay, and then I do the same thing at this end. So then they stay in place. And then if you take a pin and just kind of pull the gathers so they're going to look even, or you can take your nail. Looks a little tight at that end. All right, so once you get your gathers where you like them, and then you're going to pin. And I do use pins. I don't really want to use clips on them. I don't think that the clips for me hold as tight as I'd like them to. I don't know. Do you use clips when you sew garments?
Garments like this, I use pins.
All right, so then once it's pinned, okay, then we take this piece and we're going to fold it back over what we've already put in there. That way, this back will lay flat. If you gathered it, it wouldn't lay flat. But with the gathers underneath it, it's going to be okay. So we have both of these are now ready, and we're going
Okay.
to stitch these. These have a half, again, they're a 1/2 inch seam. You really have to pay attention to what the seam allowances are. There used to be in the olden days 5/8 seam allowance on everything.
Yeah,
Now
it isn't.
it's
No.
not.
Mhm.
With this garment, it's 1/2 inch on the waistlines, but everything else is 1/4. But
Mhm.
we'll negotiate some of that. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the machine. And we're set on the right. Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right. And we're set on a 3, but we want to go back to, I forget, how do we reset this one? Just okay?
Yeah, I would just, you can either reselect it and that will take it back to the default, or
Okay.
you can hit the, the
So that it
minus
goes
and
back
put
to the default.
And
Okay.
the default has the black box.
Right, the black
around.
box. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is 2.5. So we're going to do this as a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Get my thread. And we want it to be right there. All right. And on this one, I would hit the button for the reverse. So with this stitch, it will reverse back and forth. So it'll reverse at the front, and then when I hit the button, it'll reverse at the back. And you can see, I hope, the seam is stitching right in between
Yeah.
the 2 basting lines.
Mhm.
I really should take these out.
Yeah. I know some people, you're not really sewing over pins. You're just, but I sew like that too. I will leave the pins in.
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want
it's kind of like you have to use your own judgment call on that. But some people get upset. They say, "Oh, you're sewing over pins."
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, that one wasn't good. All right, this one I need to push this back.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Oops, that was the one I had pinned earlier. All right, so this one we're going to go back and okay, I'm going to go back a little bit.
So they said, "What type and size of needle are you using?"
Oh, so I use an 80 and I use a sharp.
Mm-hmm. Those are what I really like, the sharp needles.
Okay, then we go back. Goes back 3 stitches and then it comes forward. And then we cut it.
So,
We're going to take out our pins. And then that is what it looks like. So I'm going to do the second one. And then we're going to pin the tops together. So rinse and repeat. I can feel that pin. That pin was not going to like staying in there.
mm-hmm.
Right, there we go. The first time you hit a pin, though, you know not to be very careful. And when you're sewing, if you kind of see that the pleats are pulling up, if you just pull back on your fabric. And when you're sewing, you want to make sure that your fingers are at the front because you're helping it go through. You don't want to pull at the back because you've missed it. You've already stitched back there. You're stitching at the front. I've watched people get frustrated and they pull back here, and that is really not good for your garment or your machine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to take these out. We're going to press, and then we're going to come back and we'll do the finishing stitches. With the lining,
Here,
you
I'll
can
grab
do
your
lining a
pins.
couple different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like to finish underneath this, just so that it keeps the bulk of the pleats in place.
Mm-hmm. Did you want your pins? Like,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Jody, save our pins. What did we do with that one pin thing that we had? We have this really cool pin box.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
right
yeah.
here.
We have to show that because that was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't know all the things it
Yeah,
did.
this one, we like this one because you have those circle to keep your bobbins in. But when you put the pins on, and this, you can take this out, but it's a nice weight. It won't like topple over or anything. But when you put your pins on, it will automatically, they'll go straight across.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, see? And then it has this groove out in it, and you can, so they're easy to pick up. And then also it has a very nice little compartment underneath here, a secret compartment. And it looks like it's,
You could put jewels
they
in
said
there.
jewels and hide it. But you could put your pins in or your jewels or
Or if you had, even if you had safety pins or a different kind of
yeah,
pins.
or maybe if you had your
Snacks, yeah.
snacks or buttons.
Oh, it's Gloria Horn. There would be a snack in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a nice little gadget. And that just slides in.
And it's really nice to have a magnetic pin holder next to your sewing machine.
Because you almost like pitch them in.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. This, I think I'm going the wrong way. Yes, I am. I was, or maybe, let's see.
For the 2 different ways it goes?
It should
flip
be
it the other way?
the oh yeah, maybe it was this way. No, let's see.
Do you want me
Yeah, there it is.
to, so you got it?
Yeah, there. It was the little case went inside. And you can kind of feel on the bottom, you pull on that little indentation and it slides out then.
Clever.
Yes, very nice. Okay.
Who invents these things?
I don't know. Why didn't
Too bad
we-
it wasn't us.
Too bad it wasn't us. That's right. Mhm.
All right.
So, I think, yeah. Here, maybe we should move you
Oh yeah,
over a
we need to
little
move
bit
down
more.
a little.
Mhm.
Oops.
Okay.
All right. So again, we take our iron. And what I do is pull down on the dress as I'm pressing, because I don't really want to go over my pleats yet, because I want to do a really good press along there. And then also, since we did that crease, it does, the hot ruler makes it sort of a soft curve. So this will just hit that in.
Give it like a permanent crease.
Like a permanent crease, yes. All right, then the same thing on this one. Again, pull on the dress. Okay. Now, the seam, I do like to pull out my bastings. So if you pull out, especially the bottom one that you can see on the garment. Well, we'll get both of them. There we go. When you're ripping, a seam ripper is good. With some of these, though, with basting, because it's a longer thread, you really don't need it. But you go from the top to the bottom, and that'll bring out
Stick this on to
all
keep
of
it
that.
warm.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
there is one more. Here's the scissors. My quilting friends all teach me that you don't just pull a thread,
Okay.
you snip it.
Yes.
So you're not quite as bad with garments, but I thought that was very cute one time when I did that, and I literally got my hand slapped for
Oh.
for pulling her thread out. Oh,
Oh.
I didn't know that was a rule. All right, so the same thing on this one. I think it was still in the figure 8 over there.
There you
All
go.
right, there
Yeah.
it goes. You can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on your instructions, because I would like you to be able to read the patterns, we have done step 1, 2 on the front and back, and then this is the back and skirt, which we just finished. So before we move on to stitching the other pieces into it, we are going to finish this seam allowance. Again, because there's pleats and stuff in it, I'd like it to be flat, and I find that if you finish the seam, it will help. And so we're going to go back to the sewing machine. This time we're going to use the G-foot, and we're going to use some of the stitches you may not have ever used on your machine. Ready? Okay, so we're going to use the G-foot. Every baby
Show them
love-
where the G is on it so they can
Oh,
identify.
okay.
Yeah.
So on the foot, right inside where it attaches to the machine, there's a letter. So this is, can we see it? Okay, so that's the G. And it also has a very nice spot in here. So you put the J foot away because we do lose them. All right, so we put the G foot on, and then the stitch we're going to use, it's in the first, these are more your utility stitches. So on this 21, 22, 23, and 24 are all overcast stitches. So if I go to 20, 2. That stitch comes up. It looks like a zigzag with a little line in between. And the G foot, and it's a 3.5 and a 2, which I usually don't mess with those too much. They're usually
Here, do
pretty
you want to
good.
get over here so you can show them where the G is?
I think I got it.
You got it?
it?
Okay.
So you have the G right here, so it tells you what foot you use. It tells you where we are too. We're in that first section, and then it shows you the foot. And we're going to leave. I think this one does go back and forth.
Yeah,
thing
I
with it-
never,
you know
I
what?
never backstitch on this stitch because
Yeah,
it goes automatically
Because it goes automatically.
back
So
and
let me
forth.
take that off just in case. So the other thing on this foot I want to show you is there's a little pin like in the middle of it. And what's going to happen is your stitches will go over that so that when you take the stitches, when you stop it, you have to pull the fabric back to make sure it comes off of that little pin. That's what gives it a little more, it has some, it's not stretchy, but it gives it a little bit more flexibility in a stitch. So this is another one that you're going to run right along the edge, the inside edge of the foot. So it's going to stitch left and right. Okay. And if you can see, it's stitching over that pin. And some of those threads will cut off. You want to make sure that your fabric's laying flat. There's nothing caught underneath it. Sounds like it's working hard. All right, and then we cut that one. Okay, again, and when you lift it up, you can see there's still a few little feet on it, so you want to bring it back. And
That
it
looks
makes,
nice.
makes the back of it look really nice. Let's see, what do we have the other one?
The other one. Where did that
Oh,
go?
gosh,
oh,
it
there.
fell.
It fell
Yep.
on the floor.
Got it. All right. So we do both of those. I think the inside of a garment should look pretty as well as the outside. So I really do like the seam finishes. It does sound like it's working hard as you get to the end of the seam. All right. Okay. So we have two of them that are very nicely finished. All right. So next part.
Okay.
So we've done front to back. They used to be that they would number each step. This one is sort of grouped together. So with this last part we do is going to be to stitch. All right. So we have our side seam, and then we're going to match the shoulder seam. So we take our front, which that piece was already done, and we're going to pin. This is one of those silly 1/4 inch seams. I've never quite figured out why they went to a 1/4 inch.
I don't. I don't know.
I
It was
understand.
always 5/8.
Yeah, in
always.
garments, a 1/4 inch makes a difference.
Mhm.
All right, so we're going to stitch that one across, and then
This is like a whole new world to me.
Is it? Yeah.
I know it's a new world to lots of people.
Mhm.
I think you're doing a great job though, because there's no questions.
Hey,
Oh,
okay.
good.
Mhm.
Sometimes you forget how like basic things that you know in your brain,
Yeah.
but not everybody knows in their brain. Okay, so those are pinned, and I also pinned my yoke pieces. Oh, here, there's the needle for you.
Oh, yeah. We had a
I
hard
thought, oh, I
time.
don't know if Joan
Yeah, we had a hard time finding a hand sewing needle
in the
yesterday
store.
because we use our machines as much as
Well,
always. Yeah.
And
And
I was feeling really guilty because there were a couple things you could do by hand, and I'm like, oh, but they say hand
yeah,
work. Doing it by hand is a dirty word. I thought, oh,
yeah, because we sew our buttons on with by machine unless they have the shank,
which these have.
and which these have. So
Yeah.
we'll have to sew the buttons on by hand.
So we'll have a needle for that too.
Mhm.
All right, so pin shoulder seams to the yoke pieces together, and the shoulder seams of the back together. And it's a 1/4 inch seam. So we're gonna do that. And oh, did I?
Mhm.
Yes. Did I bring a quarter? Do I have a 1/4 inch foot in here?
I think if you want one, I can get.
I think we know where
I
they
think
are.
there's one
I'm sure
over
there's one
here.
on that. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, here's one.
Okay. So not all machines come with a 1/4 inch foot, and a 1/4 inch foot has.
This one does, but
It's not in there.
it's not here, so we'll use another one.
And it comes with the one with the guide.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to go back to stitch 3. And oh, I should show you what that foot looks like. So this edge, you run your your edge of your fabric against that, and then that'll give you a 1/4 inch seam. We have one that's clear, and we have one without a guide. So you have different options. But if you are a quilter, you have one of these. Okay. So first we'll start with, you want to grab that pin box so we can just throw them right in.
Okay, there we go.
It's different when you're not sewing at your own sewing machine. You lay things out a little differently. All right, with this foot, I definitely pull the pins out, and we want this to be in reverse. All right, so it's a 1/4 inch, and you run the edge of the guide against the edge of your fabric. And this will reverse. They're very tiny little seams, and even the shoulders are little. This is so I said this was an 18-month.
Okay.
Okay, so there's your little seam, and then we do the same. More. The thing I like with the baby lock with your foot control, you can do one stitch at a time. So if it needs to go just a little further. Okay, so there is the lining. And then we do the same thing for the dress.
Joanne says she loves the material.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There are lots of pretty fabrics. And on the pattern itself, the dresses are made with the same fabric. I just thought it would be fun to do the yoke in something else. So if you have a piece of fabric you love, cut everything out in one fabric. We just got some new fabric in that's kind of wild, but it's really pretty. And there's a couple of them I thought, oh, a pretty dress. All the quilting ladies look at the fabric and say, oh, this would be such and such a quilt. And I look at it and think, oh, that would be a really pretty dress. It's all in how your brain
Yeah.
thinks. Okay, so then once you get those finished, you want to press them open.
Mhm.
And you press them open because it's going to be better to sit on top of each other than front to back. It's just more comfortable in a garment. And we're going to layer 2 of these. So when you open it, because these are such little seams, I kind of finger press it a little bit first, so I get a running start on not burning my fingers,
Mhm. Yeah, because
they're really little. Okay,
okay.
Are we
Here's your
hot?
iron. Yes, I.
thank
There
you.
go.
All right, so once it's started, then it makes it kind of easier to go. And then the other one,
Mhm.
and then we'll do,
Avery is gonna model this dress. Yes.
I hope so.
She likes the dresses. She likes to spin around in them.
oh, she can
Yeah,
spin in this one,
mhm.
yes. All right, so same thing here. I have one of these ready, and it was a size 3 to send to my granddaughter in Florida.
Uh-huh.
I thought it would be the cottons are really nice. They're very comfortable, and
Mhm.
it's not the old days of cotton when you make a little dress. You don't have to iron them. If you throw them in the wash, and
Mhm.
they come right out. Okay, so I would best press these before they're going to go back into the bag for another week. But
Mhm.
okay,
Okay.
now we have gotten to this point. If you'd like to be brave, it tells you to, because our hour is almost up. We're trying to keep this to an hour. So when you're on your lunch hour, you can do this on your lunch hour.
Mhm.
They tell you to press up 1/2 inch on the yoke piece
Okay.
and then attach them and pin them.
So you
Oh,
we went right sides
you
together.
want the right sides together.
Mhm,
That's always
mhm.
nice. Okay, so you're going to put the right sides together. And we're going to pin. And it looks very weird because you think, oh, how am I going to turn it? That's the magic next week.
Yeah, okay.
So
Mhm.
you're going to pin your armhole edges. This is going to be pressed up, so it'll be even with that. And this is the, let's see, where it says assembled dress. That's where it shows you to do the 1/2 inch pressing that up. So you can do that with your, if you have a hot roller, or just be careful with your fingers and pin it up. So this would be the assembled dress continued number 3. And that's where we will end today. When you do the seams to match them, if you pin the top one, pin through it, and then pin to the bottom one, and then do the same thing on the way back. Pin through the seam, and then pin through your top seam. So you know that seam is going to lay right on top of each other. All right, so this is turned up in there. Where it's going to be a little trickier is going to be the very front of this. It's going to match, and you're going to fold it back up the 1/2 inch, and this is where you had that little extension. So this is going to be your seam allowance, and you can sew it, or you can wait until next week, and we can all sew it together. But that's where you want to have it pinned. So it's going to go there. and then it gets pinned all the way around. The back of it is the same. So I think if you want to be brave and pin it, and then
can
we'll come
check.
back next week and
Yeah. That's perfect.
we'll make sure
yeah.
we're good, and we'll get it stitched. We'll get it turned. The seam allowances will be sewn. We'll do the hem and the buttonholes.
Great.
So it's a big
Okay.
hour.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
hour next week.
All
But you
right.
did a lot today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you're keeping up. If you have questions, we had Nancy called yesterday and came in. I'm here all day. I'm here
Okay.
most of the week, so can answer
Okay.
questions if you have them.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can ask. We can answer questions here too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
We
Mm-hmm.
have a few products you want
Yeah.
to show.
Okay.
Yep.
So what's the did
I
you,
guess just starting off would be
The Brilliant?
yeah, the brilliant. Okay. You want me to
Yeah, you're
Gee,
good at it.
okay. Okay. This is one of my
Here, I'll come over.
okay.
Okay, ready.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite machines, and the reason why is because it comes with a lot. It comes with all your basic feet that um, we were using today, and then it also comes with the walking foot and a free motion guide foot, 1/4 inch piecing foot, the Teflon foot, and I believe the open toe foot. So it comes with a lot of accessories. And also another reason why I like it is because when you select a stitch, you'll see the picture of this stitch in the machine. So some of them, yeah. So some of the machines, this is where it starts with this machine where you see a picture of this stitch. The other one, when you select the stitch, you see the number of it in the window. So I like that because you always know right away if you've selected the right stitch. It also tells you what foot to use and then also what number it is and what menu you're in. The stitch width and the stitch length, the default setting that comes up automatically has the black square around it. So, but when you change it, it disappears. So you always know if you've changed your stitch length. And then you have different menus of stitches. And they're easy to select. Each one has a little symbol for the menu, and you select it over here, and then you just put the number of the stitch, and it automatically comes up. Then it has the automatic tie off, and then you can also program it in to cut. So you can touch the scissors and cut like manually, or you can program it in, and it will automatically cut. And this, the presser foot pressure dial is the tension dial is right here. And then
It has a nice
also,
needle threader.
it has a really nice needle threader. I'll show you how I thread it. So we'll go around and just follow the numbers and go through the take-up lever and then straight down. And there's right above the needle is a thread guide, and then through that's number 7, and then number 8 is over here with the thread cutter, and then you just take this and kind of gently come down, and it threads the needle.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's so that's one of my favorite machines. It also has, when you select a decorative stitch, and whenever you select a decorative stitch, you usually don't want to stop sewing until it's done. So this little bullseye, it will have a green light that comes on, and it will not stop until that stitch is done. So it's a nice machine for a beginner sewer. It's a nice machine for someone that has a bigger machine because it's a little bit easier to carry around with you. So
And there's an extension table for it too.
yeah, you can get an extension table for it.
We'll go back up to
Okay.
Okay.
And somebody,
If you're thinking about the Brilliant, what we talk about Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday maybe. Well, we'll see.
you never
Yeah,
know. If you're
yeah.
on the app, if you're on the app on Thursday, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
Somebody asked about the pattern. This pattern only comes up to an 8. I know Shirley was going to make it into a 10, and so that's why we were talking about doing it as a 10.
Mhm.
The patterns are fairly easy if you have a little bit of experience with fitting to make adjustments. A lot of times with like this, you could add a little to the center front, a little bit. You don't want to add 3 or 4 inches, but if you need maybe an inch or two around, if you add a little bit to the center front, the center back, and then
Yeah.
the side seams.
A
you
quarter inch if you
Yeah.
have a whole one
and be-
extra inch.
because this one does not have sleeves, it might be even easier but you don't want the armhole to be too big that it's hanging off. So that's why I would do probably a quarter of an inch on there. And what was somebody else had
Okay.
another?
Okay, somebody's going to make a practice one.
Oh.
Shirley's going to make
don't
a
make a
practice
practice one. Come on, be brave.
Is the size 10 pattern in your
That's
shop?
what we were just talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the fabric kit enough for larger pattern size?
Yes. What I realized when I showed you at the beginning how to take the center back and make a little pleat in it, the bigger sizes are wider than what you're going to have in your kit. So I would just make that a little bit smaller because you can see how full it is.
Yeah.
Taking
it
out
is
an inch,
a,
it's not gonna-
a fullness, not really.
right?
Yeah.
It's not going to have a big effect on it. Yep.
I think that's all the questions.
Okay.
Next we have the patterns.
So we
and
did the
stuff.
patterns.
Yep,
Okay.
we talked about
We did that.
quite a bit. The fabric kit.
Okay.
Seam ripper is next.
Okay. Here, I'll grab this stuff. And,
Okay. So again,
Okay.
if you're a quilter, you probably have or actually even in embroidery, you have different kinds of seam rippers.
So
to
which,
use.
which
So-
one is in the bubble? The seam. This looks like
That
this
one.
one. Yes. Okay.
So this one has 2 different tips. There's a larger blade and then a smaller blade, and it also opens and closes so that if you have for me, it's my grandson.
Yeah.
If my grandson's visiting, I put everything in the cabinet, so he hasn't figured that out yet. But it does have a lock on it, so you can lock your seam ripper. I think that's the only one we have, but we do have other ones. We have the clover. Is
Okay.
there?
The clover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is just
Okay.
a good basic. I like this one, and this has a cover.
I just put
see.
stuff over.
Yeah, this has a
Okay.
nice little cover on it, so that it keeps your blade safe.
Yeah.
It slides in there, and
Okay.
it's a good tip to.
It's very sharp
Yeah.
and will last a long
Yeah.
time.
I was ripping something out for somebody, and I had an old boss say to me, "Oh, I figured you were good at ripping since you're good at sewing."
Yeah.
I didn't know those went together, but
Yeah.
that's how we all learned.
Okay.
The hot hammer.
The hot
Oh,
hammer.
the hot hammer.
That is right
Yeah.
here. Okay.
I don't have the packaged one. from that,
Okay.
but-
Yeah. This one looks like it's 12 inches or
I don't think it's.
no,
that
it's
long.
it's 10.
It's 10.
10 inches by 2.5. And it's got all your markings on it, like 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1.
And it does a bias too.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. It does a bias. It's a
Yeah,
nice,
saves
nice tool.
Saves your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Next
Okay.
we have the Panasonic iron.
Oh yeah. Now we've been using this. This is great. It's so nice because you don't have a cord, and it feels so nice in your hand. It has a double point, so you can use it in any angle, and it also you can it sits in the cradle. Let's see, and then as it sits there, it's always heating up. And if you just take out your tank, and you can fill it up with water. If this is sitting in the cradle, it will not lose its heat. And then you can, so you just fill it up right here, and then you pop it back on.
I like the points on it because it gets, especially for little seams, it really helps you get into flatten the seam.
Hmm. And for the embroiderers, it's nice because it will fit in the the
hoop.
larger hoops. Yes, and it just, I always, when people come into the store to buy an iron, I always say, just hold this. And they pick it up and they hold it and they go, oh yeah, it's the perfect weight and size for your hands.
Very.
Yeah, and this is
And we have different size wool mats too for those.
yeah.
Just
Okay.
About the base, like it's ceramic and it holds its heat really well. It's really
Yes.
efficient.
Yeah. If it says advanced ceramic, so we'll hold the heat really well.
Next is Prism. What is this? I think we showed this already, but so we can skip over that one.
Oh, yeah, we showed that one. yeah.
Okay. That was the one that would the pins kind of
Next
just jump into it.
Right, and then the little,
the bobbin boat.
The bobbin boat. I thought that one was cool because you could do one for your embroidery thread, one for your cotton thread, and one for
Yeah.
polyester thread.
this is if you don't have as many bobbins.
Yeah. Yeah, the other one you can hold a lot more.
Yes.
This one looks like maybe it's about 12 bobbins. but
Probably.
Each.
Yeah.
Oops.
You
Oh.
pressing the button?
Am I pressing a button? Oh, my. Okay. Oh, well.
Okay.
Our
So the Ellen-
table.
is it the
It's-
Eleanor?
Yeah. Yeah.
The table goes up and down.
Up and down. Yeah. Look how high it is. Jeez.
What did we hit? I don't know.
Great table.
It is a great table. So
I don't know that you want to cut this high, but
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
stunts here too.
Yeah, we do stunts. Yeah. Mhm.
let's see.
Okay,
So we did
and-
that.
Next is glass head pins.
Okay,
did
there you
those,
go.
yeah.
Lower it down if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay,
I
and
don't
it
know.
has
How
a
did we do that?
So it has an up and down.
yeah, and it tells you at what height it is. So right now it's 33.8.
And it goes higher.
You
Yeah.
think about koala table, or this,
Yeah.
this table at all?
hmm
Because it just magically started raising up.
Yeah. But look how nice it was, even with things
Yeah,
on it.
all of a
and-
sudden we were.
Yeah, it's really great. hmm
Hand that to Steve.
Yeah, there it goes down.
Hi,
Which
everyone.
is we
Steve
did
was
next.
going,
We
thought he
did.
was going to have lunch.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. So this is our koala height adjustable table, and it expands with leaves inside. But the nice thing is that it's the adjustable height, so you can lower it down to a sitting position for you comfortable for you to sew with, and then you can raise it up so you can use it as a cutting table as well. So yeah, we'll advertise with the koalas. So
We really
Um,
didn't have that planned.
yeah, but the adjustments are right here. So somehow it started.
Yeah, I
elevating
think
for us.
we
So
must accidentally
have bumped
touched
into
it.
it.
Maybe I bumped
We
it.
have,
Oh, maybe my scissors did.
we have the new koala cabinet, the new color in gray that we have, as well as the white here, and we're gonna feature those on Thursday as well. But
Tomorrow.
we can see, is that
That's
tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. Yeah.
But here's this beautiful new gray color.
That is
Mhm.
pretty.
That's a pretty
Mhm.
color.
So it's you can't see much there, but it's hidden back here.
You never know what's happening here.
That came
Mhm.
back over. Pretty.
That is pretty.
Mm-hmm. Gray's all the new rage. It's rage. So beautiful. But it's a gray oak, so it has that oak grain to it. So we're going to be talking about more about the koala cabinets tomorrow in our
Yeah.
app only private event.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
but,
Sounds like so.
yes.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay,
I think
is it?
the next one is at the
Next,
Yes.
yes. Okay. The 5-in-1 sliding gauge, and I have this at home, and I love it. Yeah. You just put there's a little button on here, and you push it in, and it moves. And you can set it, for your hem. If you want to do 1.5 inches, you set it 1.5 inches. But it's got all kinds of things on it. You can put a pin in here, and you can draw a circle.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
And let's see what else.
I like it that it locks because I do have a metal one at home, old metal one at home.
Yeah.
But sometimes the
I,
slider doesn't stay where it's supposed
Yeah.
to. This one it'll stay where
Mhm.
it's supposed to be.
I have one without the slider and one with the slider. And then I have this one. So yeah, so this one I use a lot. Yeah. So that's the And then-
Oh,
okay.
next week we will be using. Let's see, we have what these are 1st. I think the pens are first. So we will be marking our buttonholes. So we will be using a marker next week, and I do like the Frixion pens. Yes, you're steaming a lot, so I don't ever do the marking of my buttonholes till the end, so I don't steam those away. If you don't have a pair of scissors, dressmaking shears, 8.5, 9 inches, are the average sizes. You need a good pair of dressmaking shears. And Kai are my favorite. And
Okay.
also for pinkers. And I do use pinking shears. We will use them next week when we do the curves.
Okay.
So I do really like pinking shears and think if you would like to add something new to your room, that's the way to go.
Okay.
And then the last is the bobbin saver.
The one that you were
yes.
using. Yeah.
You do have your sharps in there as well, the sharp 80.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right,
See the bobbin saver?
right.
Okay.
So the bobbin savers, I love these. They do. It's easy to get the bobbins out. They fold back, so it's easy to get them in. And again, I just took my little Sharpie. This is my 50 weight cotton. This is my 50 weight polyester. And I like having different colors. And I do the finishing touch for bobbins for embroidery, so I have those in. I think the other one's blue.
Okay. That's yeah,
So they're
that's
different
good.
colors so
And,
that I don't get confused.
And how many does it hold? Probably about,
Oh,
geez, it must be.
20 at least.
Yeah, 20.
I would
yeah.
think. Yeah.
It might say in the description, but there are 4 colors.
Okay.
They are,
Yeah, we'll have 4 colors:
here,
Okay.
here's the
blue,
board,
green, lavender,
red,
red.
and there was one more. I'm going back. Sorry about that. There you go.
Blue, green, lavender, and red. So the green is probably similar, I would think, to that one. I think they're this. No, they're not the same. This is Gravitt is the company that does these.
Okay.
So, okay.
And that
Okay.
next is just the needles, and that's kind of where we'll end today.
Yeah, and we do have the magnetic pin dish, I think, on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have different
Oh, the one,
iterations
yeah.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another
This
one.
is a baby lock one. I don't know
That's
if anybody done there.
yeah, they are too.
Yeah, we
That-
like
those
this.
are nice. It's not too big.
Right. I like it because it sits on the edge of my sewing cabinet, so it doesn't fall off. It sits right
There.
nicely, so I can fling the pins in there.
Yeah, I like that one too. I have that one at home.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well,
So join us. Let's see. Kathy's coming on at 3.
3.
Kimberbell tomorrow is our favorite thing,
Yeah.
but it's a private
yeah.
sale.
It's a very big night. So we'll
It's on the app only.
Steve's asking me to refresh.
to refresh.
Yeah. I think he has something he wants to go bloom real quick.
Okay.
Oh, we have everyone here.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Okay.
all right.
So I'm jumping in for a commercial. So we have this pre-loved bloom, and no one has bought it yet, and I think that's crazy. So I want to show you guys again this pre-loved bloom we have, and I stitched out a design here with this repositional hoop. And the neat thing about this repositional hoop is it's like having 3 5x7 hoops all in one. So to do a project like this, you have a big hoop to work with, and you just do your design elements individually. So with this, there's different positions where you can hook your hoop in. So I started in the center with these 2 hooks, and I stitched out my pineapple. And then I repositioned, and I hooked it down here, and I was able to do the welcome and then home. So this is a 5x12 hoop that you're able to use with the Baby Lock Bloom.
Can we trade mics with Steve? Just
Oh yeah.
hard to hear a little bit.
So with this one, with the 5x12 repositional hoop, it's a clamp-in style hoop. It doesn't slide in, so you can utilize different areas of the hoop. So you can clamp in up top here, and that's how I did welcome. I clamped in the center here to get the pineapple in, and then I clamped in the bottom section to get the home. So it's like having 3 different 5x7 hoops all in one with this positional hoop. But the other thing this machine offers is sewing and embroidery, but it has those large quilting stitches that we like the like that wave stitch number 35. I know we've demoed that one before. The machine, a regular price online, sells for $24.99. This one only has about 100,000 stitches on it. I think I put most of those stitches on it with my design here. Someone traded it in and went up to Solaris. She thought, oh, I want to do more. So, so this machine's available for only $16.88, which is a great machine to have as a travel machine, or if you want to go to a class with it. You aren't limited by just a small hoop. It's still a full sewing machine. When the embroidery unit's on, it's an embroidery unit. It's an embroidery machine with built-in fonts and designs and things. And then when you're ready to sew with it, you just turn it off. You just take the embroidery unit off. You can put the free arm cover on here and turn it back on, and it turns into a sewing machine for you. So it has a scissor trim button, has a needle up down button. It has that really nice needle threader we love. Any of the feet that use on the other Baby Lock machines can also use for this one. So it's a great opportunity for someone to grab a very like new machine for them, or for it'd be great for a teenager or something too, someone you want to learn to sew. Oh, it does. It's like one of the few machines that has a hard case too. So it has a hard case as well that you can put over top for you to store or travel with it too. So just put it in your cart and get it, because I know you'll love it. So, but that's our Baby Lock Bloom. So that's all I wanted to say. So
Okay.
we will see you back at 3 for Kimberbell. Mary Lou and Kathy have something planned, and we'll be back at 3.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
Do you want to say anything, or are we good?
No, it's just see you.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
See you soon.